Hello, and welcome to this week's Temple Talk, where in this episode we are going to be discussing Nintendo for 2018. Yes, Nintendo had a great 2017. We're going to get into their latest financial report that was released and then presented to their shareholders, so that's going to be very interesting to read and find out more about. We'll go into some more details about their software sales, hardware sales, and some other announcements they announced on Twitter last night in succession. It was quite interesting to see how fast they're going. But we're also going to be discussing what 2018 looks like as they release some of their upcoming games. And there are 3 games that are particularly there, and 2 that we knew was kind of one could happen. Another one also isn't a possibility, but no one knows if it's going to happen or not. So let's get started. All right. So as you know, it's been a little bit over a year now since Nintendo announced the hybrid console, known as Nintendo Switch, and we are fast approaching on its 1-year anniversary. And it's really crazy to think that at that time we all thought Nintendo was making the same mistakes it did with the Wii U. You remember, the launch lineup was very scarce, with only Legends of Breath of the Wild being its only major first-party game, and the doubts surrounding the pricing and the third-party support hanged over the head, and it was just bad. However, as of this report, any doubts that may have been there at launch have to be completely gone. The Switch continued to have one major first-party game each month with 2017. Super Mario Odyssey, Splatoon 2, ARMS, Mario Kart Deluxe, Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle, and so on. Yes, Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle was not for major first-party. It was provided by Ubisoft. But nonetheless, it was still a great game. It was one of the best games on the Switch, and it is still one of the best games on the Switch. So we're going to break down their third quarter financial statements with hardware, software, and then the other entertainment side that they announced that they're looking into. So before I give you the hardware sales for the Nintendo Switch, let's talk about the previous consoles with the Wii U. The Wii U sold, in its total lifetime of 5 years, about 13.56 million units. In all regards, it was commercial failure in regards to what the Wii did. The Wii was a 100 million seller console, one of the best selling consoles of all time, and in comparison, it was just a complete commercial failure. Dark days for Nintendo, as many Nintendo fans tried to brave the storm, as I did. But it was a very hard time. I remember not buying even all games. I think I had a total of 5 games on the Wii U, and it was pitiful. And I've had more games now on my Switch than I ever had on the Wii U, and most games are coming to the Switch. So if you bought the Wii U, kind of a failure. So why do I say it was such dark days? Well, because there are brighter days on the horizon. Because as Nintendo does, it did a complete 180, and it not only surpassed the Wii U's lifetime, it did it in 10 months. That's right. They announced the sales figures for the Nintendo Switch, and it has been sold 14.86 million units in the 2017 fiscal. And we're not even at year 1 yet. The Switch is not even a year old yet, and we're almost at 15. We are at 15 million units sold, and that is tremendous accomplishment because I was looking at trajectories, and it's surpassing the PS4. It's doing greater than the Wii U. It is ridiculous how well this console is selling, and it's mind-boggling to me. So that's an awesome thing. Kimoshima was very proud of that. I mean, I would be too. It's a great thing for Nintendo. I'm so happy for Nintendo. They deserve a win this time around. It's been a long time since Nintendo's been in the mainstream. Actually, even a mainstream desire. It's been a long time. The Wii was the last real figurehead in that. Even before then, Nintendo didn't really have a long standing because GameCube was, by that standard, was a complete failure. But the Wii U is now the worst selling console for Nintendo, and there's no more mention of the Wii U anymore. I'm not getting into the 3DS. This is mostly on Nintendo because I don't think the 3DS is going to continue much after this. I think Detective Pikachu is going to be the last game for it, so we're going to move on from the 3DS. Like I said, Lobos was coming out in 420, so there's that. So otherwise, that's what the Nintendo Switch is doing, and it's exciting to see what they're going to do. We're going to talk about more what they plan for 2018 regarding to the Switch sales a little bit later on. So let's get started with the software sales. And would you believe it? There are 7 games for the Nintendo Switch that have sold above 1 million units. It is quite extraordinary, because I don't think there's been many games who sold over 1 million in the first year. And a lot of these games sold 1 million right at launch, which is really cool. So let's get started from the least to the best. And if you have read these reports, you'll know the best selling one is the most shocking one. So at 1.06 million units, it comes in at number 7, Xenoblade Chronicles 2. That's right. In less than a month, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 has sold more units than any other game in its franchise, beating out Xenoblade Chronicles and Xenoblade Chronicles X. A great contract, especially since their game was rumored that many people thought was going to be pushed back, was going to be delayed. It wasn't delayed, it was right on time, and people loved it. It was a great JRPG that many fans wanted, and a lot of people's game of the year. I know Derek from Game Explains Game of the Year, so that's amazing. I played a little bit of it myself. Didn't really hook me as much as I would like to, but I gave it a shot. It was a pretty good game so far. For those who love the series, that's a great avenue to go with. Alright, and the next one coming up, number 6, is ARMS. Yes, ARMS, a new IP, the fighting IP that's very different from any other fighting game out there right now. Sold 1.61 million units. Great job, Nintendo, for creating a new IP and having it sell. Ooh, Nintendo. And you know ARMS is going to get a sequel. It will be called Legs? Hands? I kid, but it is so awesome that Nintendo has created a new IP and it's done well. So keep creating new IPs, Nintendo. You can do it. This next one was a bit of a shocker. I was surprised it sold as much as it has. Coming in at number 5 at 1.88 million units is 1-2 Switch. Yes, 1-2 Switch has sold over 1.5 million units, and that is absurd to me. Absurd! But I think what helped this game out was the lack of launch titles at the launch of the Nintendo Switch. And if you have getting a Switch now, don't buy it. Don't buy this game. It's a horrible game. And I'm a Nintendo fanboy, and it's such a horrible game. It should have been packed in, and I think that's a big mistake Nintendo did with this game. So the top 4 games are, as you guessed it, very, very well known, and Nintendo has promoted these top 4 games. Coming at number 4. At 4.91, yes, as opposed to 3 million, actually it is a little bit over 3 million units over the 1-2 Switches, and that is the Japan Frenzy Splatoon 2. That's right, Splatoon 2 has done very well. I don't know the numbers off the top of my head what Splatoon 1 is. I'm assuming it's a little bit more than that. But the craze in Japan is real. People in Japan love Splatoon 2. It's not really as big of a hit here in the United States, but it's a huge hit in Japan, so this game will be selling copies from days to come. This game was released in July, so it has done very well, almost reaching 5 million units in about a 6-month period, which is amazing. Coming in at number 3, the Game of the Year at the Game Awards, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild at 6.70 million units. That's right, 6.7 million units is the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild has sold through quarter 3. Now, remember, at the time of launch, it had an over-attach rate. More people bought Zelda Breath of the Wild than they bought the Nintendo Switch. So, it's interesting to see how the disparity that there's only 7 million units compared to a 15 million unit console hardware. This is the second best-selling Legend of Zelda game in this franchise, number 1 being Twilight Princess. Alright, so let's look at number 2. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. That's right, a Wii U port has sold more than The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Splatoon 2, ARMS, and Xenoblade Chronicles 2. All new games, by the way. All brand new games. And Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has surpassed all of them. It is amazing what the name Mario Kart can do for you, which we'll get into later, and my thoughts on the recent announcement of their new mobile title a little bit later on. But yes, Mario Kart Deluxe has sold 7.33 million units. That is incredible, and that was released in April, so we're coming up in a little bit over a year on that in April. So that's gonna be really cool to see how well that game's. That's definitely a game that's gonna be selling for a while until they release Mario Kart 9, which will be amazing. I cannot wait for that one. And lastly, this is the shocking one. at 9.07 million units. It is, ugh, I can't even say it. Super Mario Odyssey has sold 9.07 million units. It is ridiculous how well this game has sold. And don't forget, this game only came out at the end of October. At the end. And it's what, 2 months old, 3 months old now? And it's almost sold 9 million? That's incredible. The attach rate is ridiculous to this. Like 10 out of 15 Switch owners have Super Mario Odyssey. It's ridiculous. And I expect DLC to be coming down the line. I'm not sure as this is relative, sell right through other Mario games, but it's very impressive being only 3 months old. So there is that. It's ridiculous how well Mario sells for the public, and I can see why Nintendo is doing stuff with him in other titles. So, as you know, not only did they announce all of their games how they did for the past of 2017, they really did look towards the future and what else other entertainment avenues they can go down. So here's 3 things that they announced besides the recent Nintendo Logo that was announced. What was it, 2 weeks ago? Week or 2 ago. That's coming out in April as well. So number 1, they have announced that the Super Mario Brothers movie that was rumored has officially been confirmed. Illumination Studios is promoting this. Nintendo is producing this and financing it, which is interesting. That tells me Nintendo really doesn't want this movie to be screwed up. And Shigeru Miyamoto and Chris Meledandri, I'm butchering that last name, so I do apologize, Chris, are co-producers in this film. So it's amazing that Shigeru Miyamoto has really moved from the gaming side. He's still involved. There's no doubt that they asked Shigeru Miyamoto for his advice and stuff like that. But he's moving towards, he's the face of the Super Mario world that's coming to Universal Studios. He's now the face of the Mario movie. I love it. I love what they're doing with him. I think it's a great opportunity for Miyamoto because I think it's what he likes. So how are they going to do this movie? I have no idea. I really don't know how they're going to make Mario speak. It's an animated movie. It's not live action like the other one. We will not discuss that movie. So we'll see how this one goes. This is way far off. It will probably not see anything until about 2020. I think that's when we're going to start to see this really start coming into fruition. The next one is Mario Kart. Yes, I did mention this a little bit earlier, but Mario Kart is headed to the mobile platform. Yes, the Zelda one is not coming. War was even mentioned in this quarter's earnings. Or even, I guess, was it really a quarter's earning? No, that's neither here nor there. But it will be coming out in 2018. I'm sorry, it will become this year before March 2019. I think that's what they said. And it's called Mario Kart Tour. How are they going to do this, though? Because previously Nintendo said they want a one-hand experience on their mobile devices, and it's supposed to be a gateway into their franchise on the Switch. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they do this. They could do tilt controls, but I'm excited for it. I think it'll be free to play with a gacha mechanic, like they did with Fire Emblem Heroes, which that is still selling bonkers for them, which is great to hear. In regards to other mobile devices, Super Mario Run was not that great for them, and Animal Crossing Pocket Camp is a commercial failure to them. No one plays that game, as far as I know. And lastly, the long-awaited Nintendo Switch Online has been giving a launch month. Not a date, not a specific date. This is where it's coming out. But it will be coming out in September of 2018. So later on this year in September, the Switch Online service will be activated. Now, it is quite possible that Nintendo may delay this, but with all things considered, I think Nintendo has figured out any issues they had, which caused the delay in the first place. And so I think that's why they gave their investors the date. Which tells me that something is coming with this online, so that could be Virtual Console, could be the subscription service, could be. But wouldn't you want to release a game alongside this service? And what better game to release it than Super Smash Brothers? That is right. I predict at E3 there will be a Super Smash Brothers game announcement coming this September, which Oddly enough, I just looked this up, and I don't think many people are realizing this. Exactly in September of 2018, it will be 4 years since the launch of the Super Smash Brothers, and it's been about 2 years since the DLC came out, which is ridiculous. It doesn't seem like it's been 2 years since Bayonetta, Cloud, and Corrin were added to the roster, but exactly 4 years since the launch of Super Smash Bros. 4. So it's about time for a Smash Bros. Game or an announcement for a Smash Bros. Game. So that's super exciting to see. So yes, expect Super Smash Bros. At E3. I know I'm hype train, but oh well. Other than that, they announced some other games coming for the Switch this year that have been confirmed: Dragon Quest Builders, Hyrule Warriors, Dark Hungry Tropical Freeze. But the 3 games that have been announced or were shown that teaser trailers now in development were also on this list. Bayonetta 3 and Metroid Prime 4 have been announced TBA, to be announced. So they're not ready to announce it. To me, that means they're not even close to being done. So I expect them in 2019, which is fine. However, last E3, Pokemon for Switch was announced. Everyone thinks it's not coming this year. Everyone thinks that it's coming in 2019. Well, on the sheet, it states Pokemon RPG for Nintendo Switch 2018 or later. So that tells me they're really, really trying to push this game out for 2018. That, I think, will get to them where Kimoshima wants it to be. Speaking of which, Kimoshima has stated in the past that next to 2018 fiscal year, he wants the Switch to sell 20 million units. He thinks they could have got there this year, but with the supply issues around the holidays and a little bit during the launch window, they couldn't make it. So I extremely expect that with Super Smash Brothers and Pokemon coming out this fall, if that's how they want to do it. And I think if they do both those games, they will definitely reach the 20 million units that they're going to be. And if you're looking about what they're at now, at 15, they'll be at 35 million units. They will surpass the GameCube and the N64, which is ridiculous how fast this thing is selling. Because I believe the N64 only sold about 34 million unit or hardware sales, and the GameCube was like 22, I think. I may be mistaken, but I know it was GameCube then 64. But yeah, they could theoretically surpass both those next year. And they're crusting on the heels of PS4, which is even more interesting. So we'll see how the 2018 fiscal year goes. But I think that we will not see Metroid or Bayonetta. I also expect that many third parties will also join this hype train with lots of announcements during for E3. Because a common complaint of many third parties was we didn't get that stuff in time. So I expect 2018 will have the game announcements, 2019 will have the game releases. So what do you guys think about Nintendo's 2018 and how they did in 2017? Do you think they did very well? Do you think they underperformed? Think they overperformed? What could they do better to get to 20 million units? Leave your comments below or tweet me at Temple of Games on Twitter. All right, guys. Thanks.